Hey everybody, Dom here, the president of the And Asset Company, and in this video, I'm going to share with you the characteristics of an And Asset. You see, there are so many characteristics of an And Asset. We have a good mentor of ours who wrote an article that talks about 50 plus characteristics of the And Asset, but I'm not going to share all of those characteristics with you. I'm just going to share with you a few basic foundational characteristics that I think are important for you to know as you are making a decision around if the And Asset is right for you or if it's not. First one is it has tax advantages in regards to it. See, the And Asset, it grows tax deferred, and we have the ability to access it tax free. The reason we have the ability to access our capital tax free is because the IRS sees a loan. A loan is a non-taxable event, and when we use our money in the form of a loan and asset, it is non-taxable. Now, in regards to the death benefit, the death benefit is paid out to your beneficiary tax-free as well because it is considered life insurance. So that is the first benefit. The second benefit is going to be the death benefit. The death benefit is a massive benefit in regards to having a large lump sum of money passed down to the people you care about. It could be your spouse, that could be your kids, that could be a church, foundation, charity. It can essentially be anybody who you want to be the benefit of. And now we kind of go down the ladder. You pass down a large lump sum of money, you're now leaving a legacy in your name for whoever you want when you leave this earth. People are going to remember you as what did you do on this earth, but also what did you leave behind to the people that you love and that you care about. And if you pass down a large lump sum of money to somebody, whoever you pass that on to, I promise you for the remaining time on this earth, you will leave a legacy to them. And if you were able to teach them about the And Asset and teach them how to use the And Asset in the way that you were able to use it, well, then they can then go share that with the next generation, and you will then have lived a legacy passed down a legacy on this earth that can be essentially remembered forever if you do it in the right way. Another key characteristic of an And Asset is essentially you're going to look at the rate of return. When we look at the rate of return on life insurance, it's not sexy. It's not going to get these massive, huge rate of return. But when we start looking at it into alternatives on where else to store capital, such as a bank account, it starts to look at a very, very attractive place to store dollars. Your bank is going to get you 0.001%. Getting 0.01% is not keeping up with inflation. Nonetheless, you're actually losing money due to inflation, having it in there. Long term, we can see a internal rate of return of between 3.5% to 5. And we can actually start looking at the dollars when you start to get later on into actual later on in life, because life insurance gets better as time goes on. You can start to see a 5-6% actual rate of return on our dollars. It's not the internal rate of return, and we'll have a whole nother video on the difference between rate of return and internal rate of return and how life insurance is actually calculated. It's going to need more time and merit in regards to what that is. But from an actual rate of return standpoint, you can start seeing a rate of return of anywhere from 5, 6, 7%, depending on a few factors, which is going to be health, age, the way that it's structured, company that we use as well. There are some other health benefits that are related to life insurance, such as you can have a long-term care rider. You can also have accelerated death benefit rider as well, which essentially means if you get sick, cancer, critically ill, chronic illness, things like that, we can start tapping into the death benefit to help us cover some of those costs. You can have a place that your And Asset can store capital. That is probably the number one reason people come and work with us, is because the And Asset is an amazing place to store capital to leverage against to use in our beliefs for income producing activities is realistically probably the number one reason that we believe here at the And Asset Company it should be used. If you're going to borrow, let's just say at 4% here with the And Asset, depending on the company we use, and if we use third-party lending or not, we're just going to use a standard 4%. You can borrow at 4% to go get a asset producing activity that can get higher than 4%. Mathematically, you're going to be better off, and that is an amazing way to be able to build wealth. The And Asset has a great characteristic standpoint of just being a solid asset for future, solid asset that you can sell. You can sell your death benefit later on in life as well. If you don't want to wait to essentially have the death benefit passed on, it can be used as a great way to have an asset that you can sell later on too. The And Asset has a lot of amazing characteristics coming in for retirement. What we call is the volatility buffer is probably one of the most pronounced characteristics that it can be used for, which is essentially saying, hey, if you in retirement need to take cash flow from your market-based activities, great. But what happens when the market's down? You don't want to be taking cash flow from your market-based activity at that point in time. We want to be able to use something else, such as our and asset, to create cash flow to be able to help prolong our retirement. And it's just a great tool to be able to use for cash flow, right? We can take cash flow when it's time to retire, and we don't have to pay the loan back. The beautiful part is which comes with the other characteristics, is it's an unstructured loan, which means that we can take our loan based off our terms. Do we want to pay it back? If we want to pay it back, great. If we don't want to pay it back, we don't have to as well. You will get charged interest that will get compounded. That'll essentially get added to the overall loan balance and principal. But when we get into retirement, there's a good chance that we're not going to want to pay back that loan, which nor should we in a lot of circumstances. So ultimately, those are all the characteristics. And lastly, most importantly, it allows you to show up more powerfully in your life. See, if you have an and asset and you know you have capital that's compounding for you, you can show up more powerfully in your business. You can show up more powerfully as a real estate investor. You can show up more powerfully as an investor. You can show up more powerfully in your house because you know that you have the capital. If an emergency comes up, opportunity comes up, you can provide for your family. And you just know that you have a alternative for cash flow in the future, and you can be less stressed. You can go to sleep at night knowing that you have a tool where dollars are working for you and you're not missing out on the lost opportunity cost for your dollars. The other thing is you can show up more powerfully every day in your life, knowing that you have a tool that can then pay out a large lump sum of money to the family that you love, that you care about. It just gives you so many options, and it gives you confidence every day when you wake up knowing that you have this asset, this foundational asset to allow you to live the life that you deserve and to show up more powerfully for your family and the people that you care about.